Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Meditation with Pastor Dan Stroud. I just want to thank you for joining us this morning. We have a lot to talk about today. I also want to just remind you, some of you have already watched some of our other broadcasts, and if you have questions or some comments, it would be great. Hi, Elizabeth. Great to have you on this morning. Today, the topic is the power of celebration. The power of celebration. And we need to understand the power of this because as life goes on, as events come up, busyness of our schedules come up, and the weight of our decisions continue to weigh us down and continue to challenge us on a regular basis. If we don't celebrate, then what happens to us is we get ourselves filled with a lot of drudgery feelings, a lot of extra weight, a lot of heaviness that we need to overcome, that we need to truly, I guess, combat, face. I think of scriptures like speak to the mountain, be thou removed, speak to the mountain, the toughness of it. So what you have to do is you have to celebrate. You have to really celebrate past victories. You have to celebrate the things you're thankful for in your life. So you have to do an inventory. A lot of times I'll do at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, as I prepare to set the vision for the coming year, I will write down a number of victories I've had in my life. I will write down a number of things that I'm thankful for on a regular basis so that I have a ready list of things to think about, a ready list of things to celebrate. And then sometimes it's not enough to just think about it. It's not enough to just put it on my list. What I have to do then is plan to celebrate someone, plan to memorialize a date and remember it. My daughter's birthday, my wife's birthday, a day of a financial breakthrough in my life that I had many years ago. I had a big breakthrough 36 years ago down on the floor of the exchanges in 1987 on April 27th. So Amy and I celebrate that and we'll memorialize it to a certain extent. We'll make it a day where we remind ourselves of the goodness of God, goodness of things that are going on, so that when the bills come or when reports from a family member, or a doctor report, or a tragedy happens to somebody in our church or down in Cuba or whatever goes on, the heaviness of those things as you carry, as you might imagine, as a pastor, I get a lot of things in my inbox. And so when I'm going through it, sometimes it can be 10, 11 things. And if you carry the weight of it, then you can't help people make good decisions. You can't help them to see the victory in the end. And so I always talk to them about celebrating. Can you celebrate something good in your life? Can you celebrate an amazing event that occurred in your life? Can you purposely plan some, plan a celebration? I hear it all the time in married couples. They don't celebrate their love. They don't celebrate their romance. They don't celebrate even birthdays anymore or anniversaries anymore. They're at a place where, hey, we're married, whatever. Let's just go through the motions. That's really a tough place to be because it really hinders you in your ability to make solid, good decisions. So this morning, I had one of those days where yesterday and the day before, where the weight started to get to be a little heavy. My schedule was also something that made me very tired. I was getting up early to babysit. I was doing extra exercise and I wasn't getting the quality of sleep that I wanted to get. So what happened was I really had a day yesterday where I couldn't understand why I was actually sad. I actually had a feeling of sadness yesterday. And I don't get sad very often. So I had to remind myself of the tools. And I think it's important for some of you who are high energy people like me, that you need to understand when those things come on, there are tools to overcome them. I was speaking to my beautiful wife and she said to me, why do you think it is? And I said, I don't know. And I don't really want to assign blame to it. I don't want to say it's this or it's that. I want to more I want to just address the feeling and combat it. I want to get rid of it. And she was wonderful. She was just so loving and kind and gentle and attentive in the right kind of ways. And of course, I could celebrate that. And I did. I said, "Thank you so much. You're so good to me. You're so wonderful. And you're always there for me." So I was celebrating that. And then I was just getting to move towards the feeling wasn't going away. So I started to, what can I do? And I was reminding myself of the tools I've used in the past. So I began to celebrate wonderful events in my life, going back to my childhood, going back to my college days, going back to my early days on the floor of the exchange, going back to family events where we got to celebrate my brothers or sisters or my wife's family, going back. And I would just focus on those things. And as I began to focus on those, and especially it kind of lifted this morning, and really it lifted when the idea came to me to talk about the power of celebration. And so this principle that I'm teaching you today is not just a thought exercise, but it's a tool that requires movement. It requires action. It requires activity. So for me today, speaking to you in morning motivations, motivating you, this is one of the ways that I can encourage you. And in so doing, I'm encouraging me. One of the ways I can motivate you, I will motivate me. So a lot of that comes from the power of serving, the power of helping others, the power of getting your mind off your feelings and getting your mind on productivity, efficiency, growth, but not just your own growth, growth in others. So as I did that, I just started thinking about what will I say? What will I talk about? How does this tool really work? And then I'm sitting here in front of my iPhone speaking to you. I'm kind of all by myself, but I'm cheering myself up. I'm encouraging myself rather than looking for blame, rather than looking for the reason I'm sad, regret, or just any kind of lack of self esteem or reasons to not feel good about myself. No, I'm looking for tools to encourage, tools to forgive myself, tools to forgive others, tools to encourage others, knowing that act of service, that act of kindness is something that will lift me and lift others and lift the whole situation and create growth. And in so doing, will create promotion, creating a very nourishing atmosphere for solutions, for good decisions, for the right kind of thought process to move forward. So already what happened is I began to move into this space in the realm of the spirit. I got texts from old friends. This isn't something that I take lightly. One of my good friends texted me this morning. We had a very uplifting conversation about what a good brother he is. He's been flying down to LA to see his sister who lost her husband, and he's just being wonderful. And it was silly. He's talking about taking his dog to the vet, but we were just celebrating our friendship. We were encouraging one another, but I don't take it lightly that the minute I began to put that thought process out there, that into the realm of the spirit, into the realm of what I'm going to do, that all of a sudden it came back to me, that encouragement came. And it wasn't just him, it was more than just him. And so it was so powerful for me the minute I focused on the right way of thinking, the minute I focused on celebrating, the minute I began to actually plan to be a blessing, the blessing started to come to me. See, I always say it this way, and you may hear this repetitively on these motivational mornings. is I always say you can't give away what you don't have. And God knows this. And so what you do is if you determine to give, if you determine to stretch, if you determine to serve or to bless, God has a way of making sure you have the resources, the energy, the mindset to give, to serve, to really remove a burden or destroy a yoke in somebody else's life. And so this morning, I just want to encourage you, find that place of celebration. I want to thank you for being on this stream today, for joining us today. But I also want to encourage you to begin to surround yourself with encouragers. And one of the ways you do that is as you learn to encourage people, as you use these tools yourself, then you want to teach these tools into your close network, into your sphere of influence, into your friendships. Because the more you help them develop, the more you help them overcome their sadness, their regret, their resentment, their unforgiveness, the more you're going to be surrounded by people who know how to overcome those things and therefore know how to make better decisions. Because it's hard to make a bitter, good decision. It's hard to make a resentful, regretful, unforgiving, good decision. When I say good decision, what I mean by that is the most objective, the most productive, the most efficient decision. I always think of the scripture that says, lay down every weight, lay down every error that is on your mind or so easily besets you, and then run your race. Before you run your race, you got to release the weight. You got to release the burden. So you have to celebrate. And so I'm just celebrating the love I have in my life. I've had in my life all my life, the friendships that I've had in my life, the victories I've had in my life, because victory is contagious. I celebrate powerful men and women that have befriended me and that I've been friends with. Even some of the people that I've gone in and out with or had tough conversations with over the years, I celebrate them. I'm thankful for them. I give glory to God for those people because they are a part of my experience. They are part of my education. And their words, those situations are now tools. As long as I don't make them scars, they become bouncing trampolines towards efficiency and growth rather than weights that become almost impossible weights to overcome to make a good decision. So I want to thank you again for joining us at Morning Motivations. I hope these encouragements are helping you. I hope they're motivating you. I hope they're causing you to think. But mainly, I hope they're helping you to make good decisions. And please do the little instructions that I'm giving you today with your friends, with the people that you meet today. Pay this forward, and watch your life begin to improve. Celebrate the good things, celebrate good people in your life. Thanks for joining us. Send us a comment, ask a question, and let's get to know each other a little bit better. Thank you so much.